You're with David MIJARES, who'll be fighting next Friday at the Velasco Theater. It's a Golden Boy promotion fight. It's February 3rd. You have a change of opponents now. You were fighting someone at first, now you're fighting a guy by the name of Vinci Dixon. What do you know about your opponent?
I know that my opponent's very tall, he's very experienced. He started out at 6 rounds and has continued his career at 6 rounds. So he knows how to go the distance and he knows how to survive in there. So I know I'm going to be in there tough with him.
How difficult is it to make that transition when you're preparing for someone else and then suddenly they tell you, hey, we got someone new. Let's just say you're preparing for a guy who is shorter, around your height. Now you're preparing for someone who's a little taller. Does that make it difficult?
At first it did because I wasn't as sharp. I came off a holiday, of course, and but now I've got my bearings back together, and me and my father have been working very hard for this fight. So I believe we have the right amount of sparring, the right height for my sparring now, and I think we're going to be very prepared.
Now, this fight will be contested at 140 pounds. You fight as a junior welterweight. What are you looking to accomplish in boxing and in the junior welterweight class?
I'm looking to accomplish more, exciting fights that are entertaining for the fans, and for the welterweight class, just to kind of pop up out of nowhere and just surprise people. People want to see fighters that work hard, that get the knockouts, that entertain. So that's what I'm here to do.
You're an undefeated fighter. What is your style like?
My style right now, I think I would identify as a boxer.
Okay.
Pretty much until everyone has agreed that I'm a puncher boxer or just pure boxer. I'm gonna go a boxer for now.
You're gonna go a boxer now?
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned before, you're hungry. You're hungry for the victory.
Yeah.
But I've talked to you off camera, and you like to eat.
Yeah.
So what are we expecting to eat that night after your victory?
I think I'm just going to take it easy this time because over the holiday I just gorged myself and it was just bad. So I'm going to take it easy, maybe have a couple of burgers and, you can
just a couple.
Yeah, a couple. You can follow me at Instagram at David MIJARES, and then you can see what I got in store for you.
We also have another fighter who's coming up, a really hot prospect by the name of Ryan Garcia. Do you know him as a fighter and as a person?
I know him as a fighter. I somewhat know him as a person. We did pass throughout the amateurs. We weren't able to fight each other because he is a little bit younger.
Okay.
But I respect him. He's a very good amateur, very good pro, and I respect him. So.
Talk to us about your amateur career. How many wins and losses do we have, total of fights?
Total of 69 fights. I had, I believe, 56 losses or 56 wins, sorry, and 12 losses, I believe. And so mainly most of my career took place after I graduated high school, going into the Olympics, trying to get that Olympic spot. Unfortunately, it didn't occur, so we decided to go pro, and that's where we are now.
How did we get into boxing? How did this all come together?
My father has always been into boxing, so naturally it just trickled down, and now I'm here. And at first it was an experience where he was training a hockey player.
Okay,
and yeah, just a hockey player lingered into the gym, and he punched the bag, and he punched the water bag so hard that the stem came out. That's back when they had stems. Right. Now everything has the aqua bag now and whatnot. So the stem came out and it blew up, fell on the ground. I was like, oh, I want to know how to do that. So I've been trying to punch a bag, making it do that ever since.
You've been trying ever since?
Yeah.
Can you imagine yourself doing something else? Where would you be at if it wasn't for boxing, it wasn't for your father?
Probably now I would probably try and go to culinary arts, something like that, because it's a huge market. People love food and they love to be served. Good service. And that's what I'd probably be doing. That's at the moment, it changes throughout. I'm not sure what else is going to be down the line.
So it seems it's pretty safe to say that life after boxing will be somewhere in the food world.
More heavyweight division. yeah, heavyweight division, I like to call that.
So are you going to somehow mesh boxing and food together?
I hope so. That'd be awesome. I just got to keep thinking, keep my head on my shoulders, and just try and come up with something like a boxing food brawl or something.
Now let's talk about this weekend. You got Leo Santa Cruz versus Carl Frampton. It's the rematch. Let's talk about that fight. Who do you have winning?
I believe it's going to be a closely contested match. I think Frampton has the upper hand because he is a boxer. But Santa Cruz has been working very hard, and now that he doesn't have to worry about his father being sick,
right? Yeah.
I think he's more focused for this fight. So it's going to be a very close fight. And I'm looking forward to checking it out and seeing a good fight.
That Saturday we also have another fight on HBO. We have Francisco Vargas defending his junior lightweight title. How do you see that fight?
I'm not sure about Francisco Vargas' opponent. I have not seen him.
He's 31-1 with 27 knockouts. So the guy's got some real power.
Right. So it's gonna be. It might be a fight of the year candidate. We'll see.
I think a lot of people are sleeping on this fight. I really do believe that this is going to be a lot of fireworks.
I agree. And especially after the Toledo fight that Francisco Vargas had, I know that he's going to be bringing it this time.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a good fight. I'm going to be trying to switch back and forth, but I know one of those fights is going to catch my eye. I'm going to sit on one and wait to check out the other one.
I'm surprised that Golden Boy wouldn't have you guys be at the fight promoting next week's fight for Friday.
Unfortunately, I got to get down the weight. I'm training super hard.
Okay.
And so,
that makes sense.
I mean, I'm not sure if I was invited or not, but I think.
But yeah, you got to stay home to training and all.
Right, and next week is the fifth fight.
How many total fights do we have again?
So I have four total fights. This will be our fifth fight.
How many fights are we looking for 2017?
I'm hoping 5.
5, okay.
Yeah, staying busy, staying sharp. Yeah, don't want to fall asleep like I did over the holidays. So,
right. Who do you think is the best junior welterweight in the world at the moment?
At the moment,
would you say Terrence Crawford?
I believe so. I still need to check out, the fight card that's coming up. Also has Mikey Garcia Saturday.
That's right, at 135.
And Dejan.
That's a good fight.
I was able to spar with Dejan. He's very strong.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
so
very strong.
Try to break down that fight for us then. How do you see Dejan doing against Mikey Garcia? Because let's not forget, Mikey's only had one fight in 2.5 years.
But he stayed sharp in
that. That's true. He never blew up in weight.
Right. So I think if Dejan works his way forward and comes behind the power that he has and tries to avoid walking in straight on Mikey Garcia, I think he'll be effective. But Mikey Garcia does have the straight shots, very powerful to the head and body. So
Dejan is what, 5'4", so he's a lot smaller.
Yeah, he's a lot. He does.
But a lot of people could be sleeping on the opponent. I hope Mikey's not sleeping on him because a lot of people are talking about, Mikey Garcia versus so-and-so at 135. A lot of people are talking about his future and really not concentrating on the actual fight. Man, we gotta hope that Mikey Garcia gets past Dejan, but you know what? I'm just looking for a great fight.
Yeah, me too. I am as well.
I give good luck to both.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they're both fighters that I look up to. Even though I am a fighter myself, they have more experience than I do. So I always look up to the guys that have been there. They're doing it. They have titles and they have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The pedigree.
Right. Yeah. What are the chances of Dejan, if you could be honest with us? Do you think he has a really good chance at upsetting the odds? Because people are already talking about Mikey Garcia versus Lomachenko.
Yeah.
And so forth.
You never know with boxing. That's the thing. It's just one punch. So. And especially with the how he gained the WBC, I believe it's the silver. I'm not sure how he gained his title, Dejan. It was a surprise to a lot of people. So he's one of those guys that works extremely hard, and he's in there to win. He's not there to lose. He's not there to just collect his paycheck. So it's hard. It's hard to call that.
Do you think you'll be going into the 140-pound class as a prospect and a contender in the near future?
I hope so.
Is it difficult to come down to 140, or do you feel like
it's not difficult? It's my natural weight.
Okay.
So if I need to, I would have to. If it's in my best option, I would drop down to 135 or whatever my best options are. But at 140, I'm looking forward to making some noise.
Do you think you can make 135?
I believe so. Yeah, a longer training camp and just staying down, not eating as much food as you guys are going to be seeing on Instagram.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's just a matter of training as hard as you can and just staying healthy.
Walk us through training camp and making weight. What are some of the things you have to do to stay in shape and to keep your weight down?
It's a very high fiber diet for me. So especially now we're cutting out a lot of the carbs. So no bread, no pastas, no rice, none of that stuff.
No sweets, none of that.
Yeah, none of that stuff. The only sweets you get is fruit.
Right.
Fruit, love it.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
So that's basically very high fiber. So like kale, spinach, broccoli, of course, complex carbs. That's what those are known as, and just definitely protein. So you need your meat. So mainly just skinless, boneless chicken breast. Keep it simple, and it's just that you got to stay on that regimen over and over and over. It gets old, but at
it's
the
your
end of
job.
the day, it's your job. Exactly.
Is it difficult for a fighter to stay in shape when not fighting? Because there's a lot of fighters that complain that they blew up in weight. For example, like Ricky Haddon. He was like 190 pounds when he had to come back down to 140. Now you have fighters like Shane Mosley back in the day who would just stay in camp and stay in the gym year round and would never have trouble making weight. How difficult is it as a fighter? And as I mentioned before, it's a fighter's job to always stay on weight. We should be no more than 10 pounds.
Right. Yeah, I agree with Shane Mosley's method. Definitely just staying in camp. I took the holiday off. It's through process and learning where things will make sense. And now that's my goal, is to always stay in training camp and not to blow up in weight. Don't definitely got to stay sharp. But don't get too sharp, because some of that sharpness falls off. You get a little bit dull, so you have a little bit of fun, a little bit of food on the side.
You gotta let loose a little.
Yeah. But at the same time, you got to keep training. It's part of the job.
Right. I have a few more questions. Who are some of the fighters that you grew up with, and some of the fighters you looked up to?
Definitely Oscar De La Hoya. I did look up to him.
That guy fought everybody.
Yeah, he did, and recently, because I believe his birthday was coming up.
Okay,
and,
that's right in February.
Yeah, and so I was checking out that Vargas fight, and that was an amazing fight.
That left hook, I've seen it so many times. When he does that little alley shuffle, knocks him down. Shoot, there's so many fighters that. Roy Jones, definitely, because of his amazing speed. So gifted.
And those are mainly and Bernard Hopkins. Those are mainly the fighters that I can recollect. Who's really sitting down, checking out. Of course, the heavyweights, Lennox Lewis.
Good job.
Yeah. So those are the fighters that I mainly grew up with.
Currently, who do you feel is the best fighter in the world?
Best fighter in the world. There's so many fighters out there.
You got Lomachenko, you got Roman Gonzalez.
That's the first name I was going to say, Lomachenko. But I think I might go with Lomachenko. Yeah.
And who are some of the best fighters that you've ever sparred with, that you've ever worked with?
World champion-wise, Postola, when he was getting ready for Crawford.
Okay.
A couple of rounds with him.
How was that? How was that like?
Very interesting. He's very slick. As you could see in the Crawford fight, he knows how to maintain distance and not try, just not get punched.
Right.
He's very slick.
Were you able to implement some of those things into your training camp?
Oh, absolutely.
Into your game plan?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of things, we picked up on.
You've been in the fight game for how long?
For me?
Yeah.
Quite a while.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
So do you feel that you are still learning as you go as a professional?
Absolutely. Because, every sparring session is different, and you definitely have to take something away from every sparring lesson or sparring session with whatever fighter. If it's an amateur, a professional fighter, always take away something, keep sharpening your tools.
Okay. Why don't you let your fight fans know why they should attend February 3rd at the Belasco Theater in downtown, and where they can follow you on social media?
It's going to be a packed night. There's going to be plenty of fights. If you're not interested in me, there's Joshua Franco, there's Hector Tanahara, there's Ryan Garcia, then there's Jonathan Navarro. All great prospects that are coming up, and I can't wait to see what they do in the ring. And you can follow me at David Mijares on Instagram. David Charles Mijares at Facebook, or Junebug Mijares at Twitter.
You know, Hector, who you spoke of, you guys could be, your paths could cross one day.
No, absolutely, yeah. All this, I mean, aside from Joshua, everyone.
And Garcia,
Yeah,
it's all
everyone,
possible.
yeah.
And you're right. There's going to be a lot of great prospects, and Golden Boy, without a doubt, develops a lot of great fighters
Right.
at the early stage of the career. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.